How are we doing, guys? We had a power cut for the last couple of days, but finally the lights are back on and we are disassembling the bike. So without further ado, let's just get straight into the Bandit build. We're gonna remove these 4 bolts on each side. That takes this off so we can assess the damage and see how beautiful the wiring is behind this aftermarket light. I honestly don't know why you would put this horrible LED style light.
Yeah, it might actually just be a personal preference, right? I mean, everyone's got something they like. Personally, I think the original's better.
Okay, so at the first look, you can see it's cracked here, it's cracked here, pretty badly scuffed up, so that sort of profile is going to need to be remade with some filler. Now, I don't really want to. I can't find these anywhere. And if I can, someone's selling them for like £150. So I'm pretty confident that I can fix this.
And to be honest with you, this is probably one of the reasons to subscribe, because in the next video you'll see exactly how easy it was to actually fix that.
Now I need to start stripping apart all of this. Got a new headlight come in, which is the original headlight, so that's going to be quite nice. And then I need to fix these clocks, and I don't know if you can see at the bottom somewhere, right there, there's some damage going on right here. You can see, let's take the key out of the way. So right there, we got to take that apart, inspect it and see if I can fix it. Hopefully I can, because these clocks are not cheap.
Usually when I buy a motorcycle as a project, the parts are fairly cheap. However, for whatever reason, the Bandit parts are just stupidly expensive.
Okay, headlights off. Now, as you can see, there's a lot of cables going in there. A lot of these are going back. I think these are the indicators. So everything kind of joins, I think, inside of here. So I'm gonna have to pop these screws out, separate the whole light apart, and then try and see if I can get to the rest of these cables.
So the more parts I take off, the more I'm starting to think that this bike hasn't had a great life after my ownership. I mean, I haven't found grease where I should be finding grease, or yeah, just not really looked after very well. No, the positive side of things, everything that's been installed so far has been done to a kind of acceptable standard. So yeah, I'm confident we're going to be okay on the electrical side.
Right, up next is the actual clocks, and it looks to me like it's got 2 Allen key bits that hold the whole unit together. So I'm gonna have to try and get that off. So I've got this contraption. It's yeah, let's see if this works. Yeah, that cracked it.
If you're just starting out with playing with your bike or a car and doing bits and pieces on it, I definitely recommend getting one of those big Halford kits. It's got all the tools you need. Yeah, just go get one. It's worth the money.
One clock unit, whatever you call this, but you can see we've got some cracks here. I don't know where this is from, so this all needs to be taken apart and inspected to see what we actually got working here with. Next up is the radiator. We gotta drain all the stuff off, take the radiator out, and also I want to take the exhaust off because I've got new exhaust coming, which is a Delkovich one, and that's a straight through exhaust.
Oh yeah!
All right, here's the plan. I'm gonna take this out right here, drain it all out. I've cleaned the bucket out, so I'm gonna try and catch as much of this coolant as possible.
Another interesting fact that I've been told when I bought the bike is that the radiator is actually brand new. So looking at the fluid of this, it actually confirms that they indeed have changed the fluids at least, and most likely the radiator. So it was just a bit unfortunate that he had that accident.
Way worse than that, but now the other side.
Now, I've actually purchased a new radiator, and it's all black, so it's going to look a lot better, and it's going to give that bike that sort of a stealth look that I'm going for with this. And yeah, removing the radiator is actually super easy, but unfortunately there's a lot of rust around it. So in another video, I will show you how we tackle that rust temporarily, because obviously I'm not going to be taking it down to the frame, because that's too much money and too much work.
go. There we are. The new one versus the old one. It is the same radiator. All the fittings are exactly where they're supposed to be, by the looks of it so far. We got to take the exhaust off, and this is a job on its own, I'll tell you. The problem with that is these bolts has probably not been taken out since 2008. See that? They usually seize up in there. So there's two ways you can do this. You can get a special tool, which I don't have, or you can heat up the bolt itself, and hopefully that's gonna come out. Second, you can heat up the aluminium around the area, especially where the bolts are going in, and then hope and pray that they'll come out. If they don't, well...
Let me tell you, out of the entire disassembly of this bike, this is the one that I was worried about the most.
Hey, good old heat, baby.
And I'll tell you what, if you're ever going to do this, definitely get a blowtorch and heat those bolts up, because without this, I'm pretty sure I would have snapped at least a couple, which would cause me a lot of issues. So I'm super happy that this came out so easily.
7 times out of 10, they'll come out without cracking, but yeah. So now we can take the entire exhaust off and yeah, and see the damage of the paintwork on this engine and see how bad it is.
So there's only one other bolt underneath the bike, and one thing I forgot about was the oxygen sensor, which is actually super rusted. They always rust on the bike. I didn't want to snap it off because I'm going for a cutlass exhaust, and every time you go for an MOT, well, you know what you gotta do. You gotta put the old one on. So I took it off by tracing the cable back through the bike and actually unclipping it, which was, yeah, that was a job on its own, but you do what you gotta do.
Right, I found it. This is it. I have to take the side cover off and the chain cover off. So it's this one here. Just gotta disconnect it.
So every time you put a cutlass exhaust on, you actually have to get an O2 blanking cap, which basically shortens the connector, I think, and like creates false resistance. So basically, you won't get an engine light on.
This thing's heavy.
To be fair, I can't wait to actually see what the difference in weight is between the two.
Okay, this is where we're working with. Got a lot of corrosion on it. Well, I'm not taking the engine out, put it that way. All I can do is really sand it best I can, get some type of color match paint and see if I can paint it in the frame. You can see this bit here is really badly rusted. It is just a surface rust, so if I was to do a full restoration, obviously engine out, that's not what we're doing here today, so... All right, next up are the brakes. We got to take the calipers off, as well as all of the brake lines, because the original brake lines, back in the day, I've taken this bike up for a track day, and when the brakes get a little too hot, the stock brake lines, they tend to expand, and then the braking is not that great. So I've got braided lines coming in and replace the stock ones with some braided lines. So we're gonna have to take all of the braking lines and the calipers off the bike, and then we can actually inspect the calipers itself as well. So we're gonna start from the back one, work our way to the front, get these off, and have a look and see what we've got.
Now a quick little tip for you, always keep a syringe around in your workshop for these exact reasons. Now you may have noticed that I don't actually use a lot of power tools on my bikes, and this is mainly because I like to feel how much force I'm putting into individual screw and bolt, and this is kind of like an OCD thing, but it's saved me a lot of times. But you can see here I'm using a drill to get the caliper out because it was really badly seized in there and it just wouldn't come out whatever I did. And then it was basically just repeat the process on the front.
Look how dirty that is.
In another video, you'll find exactly why it was such a good idea to take these calipers off. They have never ever been serviced. I've never seen calipers this bad, honestly.
The bike is looking pretty empty. Next job is to strip all of this back and take the under tray off, because I've got a new under tray coming, and I think I'm gonna need to be cutting all this for the new one to go on top of that. I don't really know how they fit just yet, but yeah.
So the way the new under tray fits, if you look from the side of the bike, anything on the existing under tray that you can see from the side needs to be cut off. And the under tray that I've actually ordered is gloss black, so it's going to look really nice against this bike. And I've actually used one on my 1250 Bandit, and I gotta tell you, it really does transform the bike, so you're just gonna have to wait for that video to come out.
Right, so looking at it, I will definitely have to lift this off, put this aside, and there is a bracket right down there for the battery, and then I think it comes in two pieces, because down here somewhere, so right there is a bolt, one on each side, so I think that this whole section comes apart separately, so I'm going to try and start taking that off and see if I can separate these two sides. This is a little bit annoying. I might actually have to take all of this off as well, because I can't easily get to this, and I'm pretty sure there are some type of bolts underneath this, so which means that the top bar here needs to come off, 4 bolts on each side. There's 1 bolt down there, and then obviously disconnect the lock button. So yeah, it's gonna be a bit of a bigger job than I expected it to, but hey ho.
Now the thing is, even now that I haven't yet installed this, I'm not quite sure if I have to take all of this off. I mean, I assume that because I'm going to be doing some cutting and things like that, it's probably a good idea to do it anyway, but at least it's got to give me an excuse to clean it, and you know me, if you've seen my other videos, I'm pretty LCD about cleaning.
You can access, you can see the bolts there, so we can access all of this. I believe it is just these 2 bolts. We'll take these out and see how it looks.
Now the key is to never force anything off. If it doesn't want to move, that means there is always a hidden bolt behind there somewhere.
Ah, missed these 2 bolts right here. That's why it's not coming out.
Now, this is pretty much as far as we're going to go with the disassembly, because, I mean, let's be honest, we got a lot of work ahead of us to get some of these parts fixed.
Right, this is as far as we're going to go with regarding to stripping it. I'm going to leave the tank on because it's full of fuel and I've got nowhere to put it, so it's probably safer to just leave it connected up, and it's not in my way currently. The handlebars I've ordered, so they're on their way, so I will obviously replace them in another video. So yeah, as far as the stripping goes, here it is. So we just need to start fixing things and having a look at the damage. But yeah, thank you very much for watching this video. I'm glad to be back to show you another project. And yeah, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.